The galaxy was full of strange worlds. There was one no one dared to speak of Earth. In the year 3047, the Sol system was marked red on every star map. Across the Milky Way, in every alien language, one message repeated, "Do not approach." Earth entry is forbidden. Merchant fleets avoided it. Warships stayed away. Even smugglers whispered its name like a curse. No one knew exactly what was there, only that ships that crossed into its orbit were never heard from again. Some claimed they were destroyed instantly. Others swore they heard voices, human voices, moments before they vanished. The truth was hidden. Those who might have known it had long disappeared. Aboard the starship Atlas Dawn, Captain Raylon Voss sat in his command chair, staring at the glowing red line on the holographic display. They were 3 jumps away from Sol, and every instinct told him to turn back. But Raylon wasn't here to follow rules. He was here for answers. His brother Kale had been a pilot in the Galactic Survey Corps. 10 years ago, Kale's ship went missing on the edge of Earth's restricted zone. The official report said navigation failure. Raylon never believed it. And now, after a decade of silence, he had found something, a faint signal, buried deep in the static of old comms channels. It was Kale's voice, distorted but clear. Enough to say one thing, Raylon. Don't trust them. The message had come from inside Earth's forbidden boundary. The crew wasn't happy. Half of them were alien, and all of them had heard the stories. Engineer Torvik, a 4-armed reptilian from Virik Prime, grumbled as he worked on the jump drive. Humans abandoned that rock centuries ago. If they were smart, they left it for a reason. And if they weren't, well, we'll find out the hard way. The navigator, a young human woman named Alara, kept glancing at the proximity warnings flashing on her console. "Captain, the moment we cross that line, we lose all diplomatic protection. If anything happens, the Galactic Council won't send help. They'll pretend we never existed." Raylon stood, his shadow stretching across the deck as the faint hum of the ship's engines filled the silence. "We're not here for the Council," he said. "We're here for the truth." His voice was calm, but inside his heart pounded. He had no idea what they would find, only that turning back was not an option. Hours later, Atlas Dawn slid through the dark between stars, approaching the Sol system. Space here felt heavier, darker. The comms channels were eerily quiet. No normal background chatter, no navigation beacons, no emergency broadcasts, just static, and beneath it, something faint. Lara adjusted the filters, and the sound grew. Clearer, a voice, human, soft but cold. "Turn back, or join us." The words sent a shiver through the crew. Torvik cursed under his breath. The alien medic Irisha folded her shimmering wings tight against her back. "That voice," she whispered. "I've heard it before. Long ago. It's a ghost story told on my world. A human warrior, lost in the war against the Aurak. They say he speaks to travelers, luring them into a trap." Raylon's jaw tightened. "It's not a ghost. It's a signal. Keep going." The boundary appeared on the forward display, invisible. Shell around Earth, marked by shifting coordinates, as if the system itself was trying to hide. The moment the Atlas Dawn crossed it, every light on the ship flickered and died. The hum of the engines vanished. The crew was plunged into darkness, broken only by the faint blue glow of emergency lights. "Power's gone," Torvik snapped, running his claws over the controls. "All systems offline, drive, weapons, life support, dead." Then one screen came alive. It wasn't connected to any system they recognized, yet it flickered on as if someone or something had chosen it. The image was of Earth, spinning slowly in the black. But it wasn't the blue and green world from history books. This Earth was covered in strange silver patterns, like massive living webs stretching across continents. The clouds moved in unnatural, waves swirling into shapes that looked almost like eyes. Raylon leaned forward. "Is that movement on the surface?" The image shifted, zooming closer without any crew command. Cities appeared, glowing faintly in the night, though no human had lived there in centuries. Streets and towers pulsed with light as if breathing. Then, in the lower corner of the display, words appeared, white, sharp, and perfectly clear. "Welcome back, children of Earth." A deep vibration shook the ship, and for a moment Raylan thought it was the engines restarting, but then he realized it was coming from outside. Something massive was moving, its shadow passing across the planet's surface. The display zoomed out, and they saw it, a colossal shape rising from the clouds. Bigger than any ship in the galaxy, blocking out half the planet. Its surface was dark metal, scarred and ancient, but its eyes glowed with the light of dying stars. Torvik took a step back, his voice low. "That is no station. That's a war machine." Raylan's hands gripped the edge of the console. "It's waiting for us." The voice returned, louder now, vibrating through the walls of the ship and into their bones. "You have crossed the line. You cannot leave. Prepare to be judged." Every crew member froze. Outside, the giant machine turned, and for the first time, Raylan felt something he had not felt in years, not fear of death, but the chilling sense that they had just stepped into a place where the rules of the galaxy no longer mattered. Earth wasn't dead. It was watching. The colossal war machine hung above Earth like a silent god, its metallic skin reflecting shards of dying starlight. It did not move closer, yet the Atlas Dawn could feel its presence pressing down on them, like the air itself was heavier here. The crew stared at the monstrous figure in awe and fear, but Captain Raylan Voss kept his eyes locked on the glowing eyes of the machine. It was ancient, older than any ship or station known to the galaxy, yet alive in a way metal should never be. The voice returned, no longer distant, but close as if someone was whispering right behind their ears. "You should not have come." The tone was not angry, but heavy with something worse. Certainty. Every word seemed to sink into the crew's minds, carrying with it flashes of images, cities burning, alien fleets torn apart, human warriors standing atop mountains of wreckage. The ship's comm system, which had been dead since crossing the boundary, flickered on for a split second. A human voice, raw and urgent, broke through the static. "Raylan, it's Kale. Leave now." You don't know what the signal cut off with a burst of static so loud it made Alara wince. Raylan's heart pounded. "Trace that signal," he barked. Alara's fingers flew over her console, trying. "But it's not coming from space. It's coming from the planet's surface." She paused, her eyes narrowing, and "Captain, it's moving." Before Raylan could respond, the war machine's eyes flared brighter. A deep, resonant hum filled the air, and the Atlas Dawn began to drift forward, though no engines were active or being pulled. Torvik growled, his claws digging into the edge of his station. Some kind of gravity snare. There's no fighting it. The crew watched helplessly as their ship descended toward the planet. The silver web-like structures covering Earth glistened in the light, shifting and pulsing as if they were alive. As they drew closer, the crew saw details towers grown from metal and crystal. Rivers of light running through the ground, enormous moving shapes sliding beneath the surface. Then came the whispers. At first they were faint, like wind against glass. Then they grew louder, surrounding them from every direction. Words in hundreds of languages, overlapping, pleading, warning, calling. Alara covered her ears, but the sound wasn't coming through. Speakers it was inside their heads. "Make it stop," Torvik roared. Raylan stood still, listening. Among the chaos of voices, he heard one that froze his blood. Kale's voice, calm, almost gentle. "Don't be afraid, brother. You'll see the truth soon." The ship pierced through clouds the color of molten steel. The sky glowed faintly red, though the sun was bright above. Below them stretched a vast city, not the ruins Raylan had expected, but a living, breathing metropolis. Towering spires reached higher than any alien city he'd seen. Streets were lined with shimmering lights that moved like rivers. Yet there were no visible people. They landed not on a spaceport, but on a massive platform that unfolded from the city itself, as if Earth had built it for them. The moment they touched down, the war machine above them vanished into the clouds. As silent as it had appeared, the airlock hissed open. Raylan stepped out first, his boots touching the strange surface. It wasn't stone or metal, but something in between, warm under his feet. The air was breathable, fresh, almost too perfect. But it was silent. No wind. No distant hum of life. Ilara scanned the surroundings with a portable sensor. Captain, there's no sign of any population, but I'm detecting movement. Lots of it all around us. Before Raylan could answer, a voice spoke from somewhere nearby. Welcome home. The crew turned. Standing at the far end of the platform was a man, human, tall, wearing an old-style flight suit. His face was pale, his eyes strange, too bright, too sharp. And Raylan knew him instantly. Kale. Raylan's voice was barely a whisper. His brother smiled, but it was a smile that carried no warmth. You came. I told you not to, but I knew you would. Raylan took a step forward, but Torvik's arm shot out, stopping him. The engineer's voice was low and urgent. That's not your brother, Captain. Look at his eyes. Raylan did. They glowed faintly silver, like the web that covered the planet. Kale's gaze flicked to Torvik, then back to Raylan. They won't understand, Ray. They think Earth is dangerous. You're wrong. Earth is alive. She's been waiting for you. The ground beneath them vibrated. All around the platform, the silver surface began to ripple, spreading outwards in perfect circles. From beneath, something enormous stirred, like the slow breathing of a giant. Alara's voice was tight. With fear? Captain, this place isn't just a city. It's a living organism. Kale's smile widened, and you're standing inside her heart. Before anyone could react, the whispers returned, louder than before, drowning the air in. Voices, millions of them, speaking as one. Join us.
Oh.
The silver ground rose, forming shapes, human shapes that stepped forward in perfect unison. They looked like people from different centuries, different nations, yet all shared the same. Silver glowing eyes. They stopped a few feet from the crew, standing still like statues, waiting. Kale stepped closer to Raylan, his voice dropping to a whisper. You can leave now, brother, or you can stay and become part of something greater than the galaxy. Raylan's breath caught in his throat. The choice felt heavier than any he'd faced in war. But before he could speak, the ground beneath them split open, and from the darkness below, a sound emerged, a deep, slow heartbeat that shook the air. The crew stared into the black abyss beneath their feet. Something massive was moving down there, and whatever it was waking up. The heartbeat grew louder with every passing second, deep enough to rattle the bones of everyone standing on the platform. The silver-eyed figures surrounding the crew did not move, but their heads tilted slightly, as if listening to the rhythm. Above, the clouds twisted into spirals. A faint glow began to seep through them, soft at first, then blinding. Raylan Voss shielded his eyes, but he already knew what was coming. The light in the clouds was too steady, too deliberate to be. The sun, the war machine, was returning through the swirling storm. It descended, a massive construct of blackened steel and silver veins, shaped like a fortress and a predator combined. Its hull was scarred from battles no living being remembered, for vast limbs unfolded from its sides, each tipped with weapons older than most civilizations. The glow from its eyes burned like dying stars. The silver-eyed Kale stepped back as the machine's voice filled the air. It was deep, resonant, layered with the weight of centuries. I am Sentinel Prime, guardian of Earth, keeper of the last secret. Torvik took an uneasy step forward, his claws twitching nervously. What? Are you guarding Sentinel Primes? Head tilted slightly toward the alien engineer as if studying him. The end of the galaxy, or its salvation? The answer depends on those who walk here now. Raylan's voice was steady, but his heart was pounding. You know my name? The machine's reply was instant. I know the names of every child born of Earth. I know your bloodline. I know why you came. You seek your brother. Raylan glanced at Kale. He's right in front of me. The silver light in Kale's eyes flickered. His expression shifted, for just a heartbeat, into something almost human, a flicker of pain. Then it was gone. Sentinel Prime spoke again, its voice rolling through the air like thunder. What you see is not your brother, and yet it is. His body is his. His mind is bound to the will of Earth. If you stay, you will join him. If you leave, you will never return. The platform shuddered as a section of the silver surface peeled away, forming a path toward the towering city. The structures in the distance seemed to breathe, their lights pulsing in time with the heartbeat. Alara scanned the city with her handheld device, but the screen flashed with static. "Captain, I can't read anything. It's like the city is scrambling every signal." Kale stepped to Raylan's side. "Oh, you're wasting time. Every moment you hesitate, Earth grows restless. And when she is restless, she hungers." Torvik's nostrils flared. Hungers for what? Kale's silver-lit gaze met his. For life. Sentinel Prime's eyes dimmed slightly as if considering something. Then it lowered its massive head toward Raylan, the ground trembling under the movement. "You will come to the core. There you will see why Earth was locked away. There you will understand the truth." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Every instinct told them this was a trap, but something about the war machine's voice carried the weight of inevitability. It wasn't a threat. It was a statement of what would happen whether they agreed or not. Raylan finally spoke. "I will go." Sentinel Prime's eyes flared again, and the silver ground beneath their feet shifted, forming a wide path toward the city. The silver-eyed figures melted back into the surface, vanishing without a trace. Kale walked ahead, not looking back, as if certain his brother would follow. The crew moved cautiously, their boots making no sound on the strange living metal. As they approached the towering city, they saw more details: windows that seemed to blink, walls that rippled like water, and towers that subtly shifted shape when not being directly watched. The moment they crossed into the city, the air changed. It was warmer, heavier, and filled with a faint, almost musical hum that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The heartbeat was softer here, but it was still present. An unshakable reminder that this place was alive. Sentinel Prime's voice echoed from above. This city was once New Manhattan. It was the last refuge of humankind. But when the final war came, humanity built more than weapons. They built the will and intelligence bound to the planet itself. Alara frowned. "You're saying planet is alive because of human technology?" "Not technology," Sentinel Prime corrected. "Evolution. Humanity's final step. The will is Earth's mind. It remembers every face, every voice, every drop of blood born on its soil, and it does not forgive." Raylan felt a chill. Forgive what? The answer came not from Sentinel Prime, but from Kale, who stopped in the middle of the path and turned. The galaxy turned on us. They feared what we had become. They called it justice. They burned our fleets, shattered our colonies. It locked our home away, so we could never rise again. His voice hardened. But we endured. We grew stronger. And now, he looked toward the tallest tower in the city. Now we're ready to return. The hum in the air grew louder, shifting into something that almost sounded like voices, millions of them, overlapping in a strange harmony. The silver under their feet rippled again, and Raylan realized the path was moving, carrying them toward the center of the city without their control, far ahead. The tallest tower's base began to open like the petals of a flower, revealing a dark, spiraling descent into the ground. Sentinel Prime's voice rolled through the city one last time. "Enter, children of Earth. See the truth, and then choose your side." Raylan stared into the darkness below, his gut twisting. Whatever waited in the core wasn't just the truth about Earth, it was something that could change the fate of the galaxy. And deep down he feared it was already too late to turn back. The silver liquid in the core churned violently, sending waves up the walls of the chamber. The hum of the city grew louder, shifting into something almost like chanting, millions of voices, all speaking in perfect unison, yet in no language. The crew recognized. The air was electric, charged with a strange energy that made the hair on Raylan's arms stand on end. From the depths of the pool, shape began to rise. At first it was formless, just a towering column of liquid metal. But then it began to take on detail, armor-like plates, human-shaped shoulders, a head crowned with jagged spires. The figure stood as tall as a small building, its surface rippling like the city itself. Its eyes opened, glowing with the same silver light as Kale's. The voice that spoke was not the same as Sentinel Prime's. This one was older, colder, and filled with something more dangerous than anger. It was filled with certainty. You stand before the will of Earth. I am the memory of every human who ever lived. I am the shield and the blade of our kind. Torvik's claws scraped against the balcony railing. What is this thing? Kale answered without looking at him. This is the core, the mind of Earth, the one the galaxy fears above all else. It's Raylan's. The voice was low, but steady. Why? Why fear you? The will's eyes blazed brighter. Because of what runs through your veins, Raylan Voss. The galaxy has always envied human resilience, our ability to adapt, to survive. But they do not know the truth. That resilience is not just spirit, it is biological. It is the blood. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. The will continued. Centuries ago, in the First War, humanity's scientists created the perfect defensa. Microscopic organism woven into our very DNA. It could learn, change, and destroy any alien biology it touched. A drop of human blood was enough to end entire fleets. It was our ultimate weapon, and our greatest sin. Lara's face went pale. That's genocide in a bottle. Kale's expression didn't change. It was survival. It came to wipe us out. We gave them a reason to stop. And so, the will said, the Galactic Council betrayed us. They could not destroy us, so they locked us away. Earth became a prison, sealed with fear. But the blood has evolved since then. Stronger. Faster now. It can spread through the stars in days. Raylan's stomach tightened. To use it. Kale stepped closer, his voice lowering. Don't want to use it. We need to. The galaxy has forgotten what it means to respect us. They've built their empires on our absence. It's time they remembered. Torvik's jaw tightened. You're talking about wiping out billions? Kale's silver-lit gaze locked on him. I'm talking about ending every threat to humanity forever. Raylan turned to the will. And my brother? He said his mind is bound to you? What does that mean? For the first time, the great face in the silver rippled, as if it were considering its words. He chose to join us. His mind lives in the network of Earth's will. He sees through its eyes, speaks with its voice. You may call him brother, but he is now more than human. Kale smiled faintly. I'm still me, Ray, just improved. Ilara shook her head. This is madness. If what you're saying is true, the moment you leave this planet, the entire galaxy will unite to destroy you. The will's reply was calm, but the power behind it was undeniable. Let them try. The ground beneath them trembled, and the silver pool began to split apart, revealing something buried deep below. As the liquid receded, Raylan saw an immense shape resting in a cradle of living metal. At first he thought it was another war machine. But then he saw it breathe. It was alive. The creature's body was covered in organic armor that pulsed faintly with light. Its wings were folded tight against its back, each longer than a starship. Its head was sleek and predatory, its mouth lined with rows of crystalline teeth. Every movement sent a shiver through the core, as if the city itself was tied to it. Kale's. The voice was full of reverence. The guardian beast, born from the blood itself, can survive in space, feed on starlight, and carry the will across the galaxy. With it, humanity becomes untouchable. Raylan stared down at the creature, torn between awe and dread. He had fought in wars, seen worlds burn, but nothing in his life had felt this inevitable. The will spoke again, each word like the tolling of a massive bell. We ask you one question, Raylan Voss. Will you lead our return? Or will you stand in our way? Raylan didn't answer immediately. His eyes locked on Kale, searching for the brother he remembered in the man standing before him. But the silver glow was all he saw. Before he could speak, the guardian beast stirred. Its massive head turned toward the balcony, and for a moment Raylan felt its gaze like a physical weight. In its eyes he saw flashes entire alien fleets burning, planets falling silent. The galaxy reshaped under a single banner, humanity's. The choice was his. But the heartbeat of the planet was quickening, and the guardian beast was waking fully now. He knew he didn't have much time left to decide. The veil over Earth's past was gone. What remained was a planet no longer shrouded in silence, but in dread. The Galactic Council's secret was now open to every world that tuned in to the broadcast. Ancient battles, betrayal, and the horrific truth that Earth's destruction had not been an accident, these were facts that could not be erased. Captain? Rourke stood among the ruins, staring at the blackened soil beneath his boots. The ground still pulsed faintly with energy, like a sleeping giant breathing beneath the surface. He knew now why the galaxy feared this place, not because it was dead, but because it was alive. The Forbidden Zone was not a grave, it was a lock. Dr. Alara knelt beside him, scanning the readings from her device. Her voice trembled, not from fear, but from awe. "It's not radiation," she whispered. "It's something else, something waiting." The spikes on her monitor danced wildly. Whatever destroyed the old civilizations, it's still here, it's dormant. Above them, the alien fleet that had once followed to stop them now kept their distance. The captains of those ships were no longer enemies, but terrified witnesses. They had seen what Earth could do when provoked. The rumors were truth, the planet itself was a weapon. Rourke knew they had to leave, not because they feared what lay buried, but because staying too long might wake it. As they prepared their shuttle, Ilara hesitated. "We can't just leave it here," she said. "Someone will come looking. Someone will try to use it." The captain looked back toward the ruined city in the distance. The black towers jutted, out like teeth, silent, watchful. "We don't get to decide the fate of Earth," he said. "We can only make sure the wrong hands never touch it." But the galaxy was watching now. From the wealthiest planets to the poorest asteroid colonies. Everyone knew the truth. Earth was not abandoned, it was imprisoned. And the locks were beginning to rust. As their ship lifted from the surface, Rourke glanced at the planet one last time. From space, Earth still looked beautiful. Blue oceans, green land, clouds drifting lazily. But beauty could be a lie. Underneath, the ancient power slept, patient and eternal. Somewhere deep below the crust, something stirred. It felt the weight of ships leaving orbit. It felt the fear ripple through the stars. And, for the first time in centuries, it opened its eyes. Captain didn't know if they had just escaped, or if they had just set the clock ticking for the galaxy's final hour. The silver path carried the crew forward like a conveyor, drawing them deeper into the heart of the city. Around them, the towers loomed higher and closer, their surfaces rippling as if they were alive. Some seemed to lean toward the travelers, bending subtly to watch them pass. Windows flashed with strange images, human faces from different centuries, appearing and vanishing in an instant. Raylan kept his hand on the grip of his sidearm, though a part of him already knew it wouldn't. Help here. This place wasn't built to be fought, it was built to be obeyed. Kale walked ahead, his movements precise, almost mechanical, but every so often, his head tilted slightly like he was listening to something the rest of them couldn't hear. He didn't speak, neither did the crew. The only sound was the low hum of the city, pulsing like a distant heartbeat beneath their feet. They reached the base of the tallest tower. It stretched so high into the blood-red sky that its peak vanished into the clouds. The structure opened. Before them, its walls parting without a sound. A wide entrance revealed an interior lit by pale silver light as they stepped inside. The air changed again, thicker now, almost heavy enough to taste. The interior was impossibly vast, like stepping into a space much larger than the building could contain. Balconies and walkways spiraled up and down, vanishing into endless distance. The walls were lined with glowing panels, each displaying shifting symbols and images. Elara stopped suddenly, staring at one of the panels. "Captain, that's the skyline of New York City. From the 21st century?" Raylan's gaze followed hers. The image shifted, now showing London during the Second World War, then Beijing in the late 23rd century. Then cities he didn't recognize, some human, some alien burning under skies filled with warships. The panels were memories, playing out history before their eyes. Torvik's voice was low, almost reverent. It remembers everything. Kale finally spoke. It doesn't just remember, it keeps them. Raylan frowned. Keeps who? Before Kale could answer, a figure appeared on one of the upper balconies. Human. A woman in her 30s, dressed in the style of the late 2100s, she looked down at them with a warm smile. Raylan's chest tightened. He recognized her from old family pictures' mother. The word slipped from his lips before he could stop it. Ilara turned sharply toward him. Your mother's dead, Captain. Raylan's pulse pounded in his ears. She died before the evacuation, but that's her. The woman waved gently, then turned and walked into a doorway, vanishing from sight. Kale's voice was calm, almost soothing. You see now, no one who dies on Earth is truly gone. The will keeps them here, in the core. It's why no one is allowed to enter, because the galaxy would tear itself apart to control this power. The crew moved forward, climbing a spiraling walkway toward the center of the tower. The walls grew brighter as they ascended, and the hum deepened into something closer to a chant, millions of voices speaking in unison. Too faint to make out words, but strong enough to feel in the bones. They emerged onto a wide balcony overlooking what could only be described as the city's heart. Below them stretched a vast open chamber, so large it could hold entire fleets. At the center was a pool of liquid silver, its surface rippling with every beat of the great heartbeat they'd felt since landing. Shapes moved beneath the surface, human shapes, alien shapes, even forms Raylan had never seen before. Ilara took a step back, her face pale. Those aren't bodies, are they? Kale's silver-lit eyes fixed on her. Their minds, souls. Every person who ever lived and died on Earth is still here, still thinking, still speaking. Raylan felt his stomach twist. That's impossible. Kale smiled faintly. So is a planet that thinks. And yet here we are. Torvik leaned over the balcony, his voice grim. This is why they closed off Earth. Not because it was dangerous to visit, but because it was dangerous to know. As if in answer, the silver pool surged upward, forming into a massive column that reached toward the balcony. The surface solidified into the shape of a human face, insentient, wise, and impossibly detailed. Its eyes, like Kale's, glowed with silver light. When it spoke, sound was not a voice, but a vibration that rattled every bone in their bodies. Raylan Voss, you have come seeking your blood, but you will leave knowing your purpose. Raylan's throat felt dry. And what is that? The great silver face leaned closer. The galaxy has forgotten the first war. They believe humanity was defeated. But we did not die. We prepared, and the time to rise has come. Raylan shook his head. You're talking about another war. No, the voice said. We are talking about the last war. The silver column dissolved, splashing back into the pool below. The heartbeat grew louder, faster, echoing through the tower. Kale turned toward the crew, his voice calm but carrying a weight that made every word feel inevitable. You can leave now. Turn to the galaxy and forget what you've seen, or you can join us and change everything. The floor beneath them trembled. From deep within the core, something massive began to rise, its shape still hidden beneath the silver liquid. Whatever it was powerful, ancient, alive, and it was waking up.